What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mind Fluxed podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tristan Parmley, and my other host, I can't hear Josh on my audio. This is day number 1 of the Mind Fluxed podcast. Guys, Josh and I are 2 young entrepreneurs coming together with our videographer, Sanchez Miller, and our audio producer, Benji Got Beats. Check him out on Instagram. And we're pulling in a collective of information in 120 Collective Studios to bring you guys new, fresh information to hopefully kind of change your mind. When you break down the word mind fluxed, flux means to change, to flow continuously, to always be, like evolving. And we hope that after each episode, you leave feeling that way and that we've introduced you new information that might be able to positively impact your life, your business, your relationship, or whatever it is, to break the mold and get out of the situations that you guys are in. So we're going to tell a little bit about ourselves and a little bit more about the direction of the podcast and just kind of talk about some things, introduce episode 1, and we'll see where it goes. Disclaimer, we are young guys trying to figure it out in life and everything that we do. And we know that there are millions of people out there just like us. So we're not coming here to sell you guys anything or tell you exactly how you're supposed to live your life. We're trying to give you a different perspective and an alternative to what other people are listening to. So, Josh, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, yeah. So, like I said, I'm Josh Matthews. I'm 23 years old from Indianapolis, Indiana. Basically just like as these episodes go on, you guys are going to learn a lot more about me and Tristan and kind of like what we've experienced. But just to kind of give you, an overview of who I am and kind of like what I represent. Like I said, I grew up in Indianapolis. I pretty much played baseball my whole life up until high school. So, just as a young kid, I was, just normal, played sports, hung out with friends, like the basic thing most, younger kids do. But yeah, so I play baseball. I get up into middle school and high school, still playing sports. And so I live with my grandpa too. He pretty much raised me. I lived with my mom at some points in my life. Dad wasn't really around. Growing up, I had to, kind of figure it out on my own, or I just stayed to myself and just observed and was very observant of what was around me. But yeah, I got up to high school. I knew that I always wanted to, be different. I knew I wanted, the normal lifestyle wasn't for me, just because, I realized, watching my mother grow up and everything and just my family around me, that I didn't want that normal lifestyle. I always knew that I wanted to do something different, be something different, change the world. And it wasn't up until right before my freshman year of college, where I went to ISU, where I realized, I really wanted to take control of my life, and I really wanted to, take matters into my own hands. Because one thing about me that I learned, growing up, especially working back in high school, is that I'm a person, I like to be on my own time. I don't like for people to tell me, where I have to be, when I have to be there. So honestly, the thing that made most sense to me was to be an entrepreneur, because that way, I could have more flexibility with my life, and it allowed me to experience more things and to go through more things, especially in this digital age that we're in, where you can literally make money from your phone and laptop and just be mobile and travel the world. But just to fast forward a little bit, make this long story short, got to college, didn't know what I wanted to major in, so I decided to do athletic training. You know, after after that first semester, I knew that really wasn't for me. Then I majored in business. Then I majored in communications. Also realized that wasn't for me. And then just kind of like fast forward, and I decided to drop out of college. College dropout, woohoo! Um, it's college dropout. Honestly, the best decision I ever made. But I just decided, you know, I had to, you know, start my own business and, you know, take control of my life, and had certain opportunities come across me where I just took advantage. And the people around me, we took advantage, and here we are now. We're here with Mind Flux and just talking to you guys. And like I said, I just tried not to word vomit on all of you, because I didn't want to go into every single little detail. Because like I said, as the episodes go on, you're going to learn a lot more about the both of us. But I know that was kind of scrambled and scattered, but just a little quick overview.
Like we said, we were gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
We're gonna figure it out. I mean, you'll learn. You guys will learn a lot about us, like in our personal lives. Josh and I actually are cut from the same cloth, but made in like different factories. So, Josh is from Indianapolis, graduated with what, 800 kids?
Yeah, like almost 900.
Almost 900, raised by his grandpa. Right. I grew up in French Lick, Indiana. Graduated with 59 kids. I had a wedding this weekend I went to and literally saw like pretty much everyone at the wedding, or at least everyone that was important to me, which was more than 40% of the class. So, which is crazy. Also raised by my grandpa. Also don't know, you know, my own father. I don't have any, you know, connections with him. And I kind of grew up always like wanting more, because I saw kids. I was in such a small town where everybody knew everybody, and I saw kids who had stuff or had things, and whether it be from their parents because their parents were together, or it be from the connections that they had. I was just always like, why can't we have that? I want that too. I want that too. And I'd always ask my mom, like, why can't we have that? Why can't we have that? And there was like never really like a reason. It was just we didn't. As a kid, I was born in Riverside, California, and so I flew back and forth every single summer between California and French Lick, Indiana. So in Riverside, right, we're similar, like close to LA and San Diego, and it's densely packed. In my grandma's neighborhood, I was the only white kid there, and I guess I had a country accent, which I don't really, you know, recognize, but I didn't really like fit in when I was there, but I'd be there away from the summer, so I didn't get to play, you know, like summer baseball all the time, or like hang out with other kids that were from my own hometown. And when I'd go to my own hometown, they all had parents who worked in the school, or they all had, you know, like friendships, like their parents were friends with each other, and our family just wasn't like that. So without like diving in, like I said, you guys will learn a lot about us personally. Without diving into that too much, it kind of made me like a chameleon. Like I was always trying to fit in or move in to different places. It made me like definitely an extroverted person, like can have a conversation with anybody and pretty much realize that I want to know a little bit about a lot. I want to know a lot of stuff. And that's one of the things that this podcast will be about is, you know, being able to recognize that you have to know a little bit about a lot. Like you have to know like a little bit about 1,000 things and be average knowledgeable on like 500 things, and then be good at doing, you know, like 20 things, and great at doing, you know, 4 or 5 things. That's really, really important, because like knowing Josh, like freshman year, like we showed up random roommates. He was supposed to live with a friend. I was supposed to live with a teammate. That didn't work out, and we just showed up, and it was like, hi, you know, like.
Yeah, and I literally thought he was gonna be some country ass white boy.
Yeah, which is understandable. Like one time I wore boots to a party, and he didn't tell me not to, so it was bad. I've come a long way in those 4 years, because thinking about like in California, I was the only white kid, but I was surrounded by Hispanic kids on our block with my grandparents, and in French Lick, I was among just all other white kids. Like we only had Jamaican American. That was the only like ethnicity or like difference than people around. And then I leave my tiny little town, and I'm with this regular guy from Indianapolis, but who comes from a totally different like culture and understanding of the way the world works and the way we've been able to like educate each other. Josh really just educated me on how literally like the world works from other perspectives. Like there was one point like I tweeted about Meek Mill when he first got locked up. I was like, why? You know, like this guy's constantly in trouble, like following the headlines. And he checked me on Twitter. Like he's my business partner and my roommate, and he checked me on Twitter like, what do you mean? Like you should look into this more. And that's been crazy, like eye-opening for me. And at the same time, I word vomit these weird things I learn about like fish in the sea and like stuff like that onto Josh all the time that to some people might be irrelevant, but you can, when you learn that stuff, you can carry on a conversation. It's pretty cool. So one of the things I want to talk about, guys, is Josh said two things during his intro. He decided he wanted to take control of his life and he wanted to take advantage of opportunities. And this podcast isn't just, you know, motivation or educational or entrepreneurship. We're not asking or telling everybody you should quit your job. But one of the things Sanchez, who's back there behind the camera, and I were talking about in our drive back from Florida this last week is realizing that, you know, you may not have it figured out. You may not know what you want to do. You might be our age, a little bit younger than us, or a little bit older than us, but you do have to realize you are in control. You are in control of your life. No one's going to get that student loan bill except for you. No one's going to be in charge of, you know, putting food on the table for your kids or family except for you. Nobody's going to have that job or have that same passion about whatever you like. And you may not know what that is. You may not know what you want to do, but you have to recognize that you get to decide that. You get to try new things. You get to fail. You only get, you know, one life that you get to fail around, and you get to take advantage of opportunities. And taking advantage of opportunities, taking advantage of anything, I don't think is bad. I feel like people think, like, when you hear taking advantage, like, of people or opportunities is bad.
No, fuck. You need to take advantage of opportunities because, I mean, there's plenty of them out there, but if you don't hop on them, they're definitely gonna run out on you. And
yeah. What about like people? Like if you like take advantage, like I feel like there's a good way to take advantage of people as well. Like they're
definitely. Because think about it, everybody you meet or everybody you come across with, you have some type of purpose. It could just be taking advantage of if they have a piece of gum that you want. You feel me? Like everybody wants something from everybody. It just comes down to, you know, your motives about it, and is it good or is it bad? Is it to progress forward in a good way that can mutually benefit the both of you, or is it, you know, to get yourself more ahead than the other person, which that's not good. But it's perspective, how you look at it.
Yeah, perspective. And like trying to come up for a name for this podcast, we had all kinds of stuff. I mean, we had perspective was in there, dynamic was in there. Yeah. Obviously, mind was in there, like mindful. I think expression was in there. When we like bounced around on a name for this, we knew what we wanted to talk about, but it's like a big umbrella. Mm-hmm. Like we want to talk about making those decisions or like taking personal development, because right now we listen to guys who are like 30, 40, 50. They're making a ton of money, and we listen to them because that's what we're into. Like we want to make a ton of money, but some people listen to graphic designers. Right. Some people listen to, other artists or other musicians, and that's who they look up to, and that's perfectly okay. Mm-hmm. But one thing you guys have to recognize is that if you're listening to those people, they're telling you about what they've already done, and odds are, I mean, I'm not saying the opportunity is like, past, but you can't always just like let that distract you and like take on like, oh, this is what this 35-year-old millionaire said to do. That's what I'm going to do. Right. Because you're going to be 35 in 15 years or so. Mm-hmm. Like we wanted to come and bring a perspective from people who are 22, 23. Sanchez is about to be 23. How old are you, Benji? 23, exactly. And we have people who are younger than us, people who are older than us, who are all trying to do, the same thing, and they follow this idea of entrepreneurship or follow this idea of doing what you love, doing what you're passionate about, being your own boss. And the truth is that's not for everybody.
Right. Definitely not. It's definitely not for the what's the faint-hearted?
Faint of heart,
Weak-hearted.
right? I think.
I don't know, but if you're weak, it ain't for you. uh, but yeah, what were we just talking about? What was your topic?
I'm just like about how people are like, you can do what you want to do. Like you can realize you're in control.
Yeah.
But
So I had a thought. So basically, which is why this podcast is powerful, because like Tristan said, we're talking about like what we are going through, like what we are experiencing. Because I think that's very important, especially nowadays with how we can actually document a lot of stuff we're doing. Because honestly, for me personally, yeah, I want people to relate, and I want people to, kind of, like I said, relate to what we're going through and, whatever. But also, I think it's pretty cool that this is episode 1. Like, we're going to be able to see the growth and everything, and actually people can go back and look, okay, these guys were talking about this here, but a whole year from now, they're actually here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like super powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that's cool. But yeah, we're just talking about what we're going through, man, because I think there's a lot of people on this wave right now. There's a lot of people realizing that they can, achieve greater. The internet has gave people the ability to, figure out information a lot faster. So what that means is people will be getting more work done faster. They'll be innovating faster, and it's just gonna 10x from there.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm excited for you guys to,
Yeah, you had a good point there too. It's like, because I tried to do something similar like on my own earlier this year. Started like a YouTube channel that was just going to be about me like changing. Because like at the end of the day, like I wake up, or not, I don't wake up at the end of the day, but every day I'm looking in the mirror, and like some days I have terrible days. I was talking to Sanchez about this. I was talking to Veronica about this, where I just like wake up and I like feel like paralyzed. Like there's nothing I can do. It's like we have our business, like starting a second company. I've got things I just want to pursue. Like I have new business ideas like every day, but of course I'm not like passionate about it. It's just like, oh, that'd be really cool. Mm-hmm. And I'll go and research, but that will like give me like this paralysis by analysis, and I'll just be sitting there and like, I know I'm going to be successful. Like there's no other choice but to make it. Mm-hmm. And to make it on my own. And I'm okay, if I had a really good chance to be a number 2 or a number 3 in something that I was super happy, like passionate to be doing. Mm-hmm. But my problem is I like so many things. Mm-hmm. I don't love, that many things. And so I wanted to start a YouTube channel that was about that. So that way in like 5 years or 10 years, I'd be able to say, no, go back and look. Like, I mean, that's kind of what Gary Vee is saying. He's like, go back and look at my wine library, right? Or like Ty doesn't have that. Grant doesn't have that. Tony Robbins has a great track record. But like people that people listen to, even graphic designers, musicians, Benji's now getting started like talking about the stuff that he's producing, and like just being honest, like, yeah, we're not making a lot of money right now, but we're making enough money to keep doing it all day, every day, and like wake up every day and say, okay, we got like 16 hours to work,
right?
8 hours to sleep, 16 hours to work. That's what every day is like, 7 days a week. But it like fell through. So much is going on. Like I think at that time, my son was about to be born, just being born. Mm-hmm. I was in my senior season of track, right? University record holder, captain of the team, blah, 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 blah. Trying to graduate with a degree I know I'm not going to use, but if I don't graduate, I can't run.
Right.
And we have a business. And like one of my friends, a girl who works with us actually, said, thrive in chaos. Like some people just thrive in chaos. Mm-hmm. And I think adopting that mentality that like it's gonna be good, like it's gonna be cool, like time is gonna pass, like and no matter what I did, at the end of May the season's gonna be over, so I might as well do well, or I might graduate or whatever the case is. And going through that, I look back at some of the other things that have happened to me in my life, and I'm like, oh, this is nothing. Mm-hmm. And I try to tell myself that, this is nothing. Yep. Like, I just had a problem the other day that just like left me woke up like, what the fuck am I gonna do about this? Yeah. And then I was like, this is nothing.
Yeah,
this is nothing.
You got to be that way, because honestly, problems are they're always going to be there, always. And
more money, more problems.
Exactly.
Do you believe that? Do you believe in that?
Yeah, definitely. It is the new levels that you reach, you're going to have new level of problems for sure. It's just how you maneuver around them and your mindset about them and whatnot. Because I mean, and also too, I like to think about it like this, like, especially individually, we both had like our different problems in our life. But it's always good to just have that perspective that someone definitely just has it tougher than you. Because
Always.
like it doesn't matter if the worst shit happens to you. Like someone always has it tougher than you. So that's just
He's about to reset the camera, right? Okay, 10 minutes left. All right, now we know that. But yeah, someone always has it tougher to you too. And like, well, I don't know if it's really more money, more problems. I feel like it's more money, like more opportunity to recognize problems, right?
Yeah.
So I was reading Awaken the Giant Within last night, and two things stuck out about what you just said. The first is like the metaphors that you use in your life, right? Like if you describe your life as like, I'm drowning in a sea of confusion, and then if you feel like you're drowning, you're going to be stressed. Like, and he's like, okay, well then walk to the beach of understanding, you know. And this lady had said that, you know, things happened in her life. She was just like rude to be around. And she was saying that like she found that small holes sink ships, or like the leaky holes sink ships, like whatever the reference is. So the littlest details. And paying attention to the little details is important too. But like, I feel like with more money, it's not even necessarily that there's more problems. It's that you can recognize the little things that you want to change. And then you have the choice to decide if they're a big enough problem to do something about it. And if you have the money, you have the choice. You have the thing. And I feel like with more money, like I think people that come like from our background, honestly, all four of us in here that come from our background is like the ones who can really change the world, because it's not like we have problems that aren't real. Like we have problems that affect everybody, and opportunities and stuff like that are real, and different like upbringings and stuff. And then another thing you said too is how you choose to go around them. And in the same book, the same chapter, literally, he was talking about like if you have a wall, like, oh, I just can't get over this wall. That's the metaphor. And he's like, okay, we'll figure out how you can tunnel under it, or walk to the door on the side, or just go around it, or go through it, drill a hole, go through it. So mo money, mo problems.
let's because I don't think we really went into talked about like how we like actually we mentioned that we met each other freshman year, but I kind of like want to get into that story a little bit.
Oh yeah. We have time. I mean, we have plenty of time.
Cool. So it was crazy.
Crazy. It was the night before Christmas.
Because like he said before, like I was supposed to room with a friend of mine who I went to high school with. He was supposed to room with a track teammate. But somehow, miraculously, it got all jumbled up and messed up, and ended up seeing his name on the rooming assignment. And when I seen French Lick, Indiana, like I said before, I thought it was something, you feel me, like country ass dude. But the one thing that gave me hope was that he ran track. That was the one thing that like kind of, you know,
that is a pretty
just gave me that light at the end of the tunnel.
Culturally accepted sport.
And it was a sprinting. So I was like, okay, all right, we might
just say honestly, just say it, just say what you're thinking. I'm around a lot of black people. That's what you were thinking.
No, I just didn't want to be with a country ass white dude. You know, that would have been weird.
It would have been weird. Like, what if I chewed tobacco and like?
Yeah, we would have been cool, but that would have been weird. But so yeah, like we met each other, and it was tight. And honestly,
you were doing network marketing.
Yeah, that is true. I was doing network marketing at that time. I forgot to mention that. That's how I got started into business and whatnot. Joined a network marketing company. That's where I read my first books and everything. That's kind of like where I gained my mindset from at that point in my life. So like, what were your first thoughts when it came to
rooming together and stuff? I didn't know who you were, because your social media, you had that picture with Roman in front of your car. I thought you were Roman because you didn't have him tagged, and got to turn that off. You didn't have him tagged, so I just thought your name was Josh Matthews. I'm like, oh, he's this white guy, but that was Roman, who we met later.
Yeah.
Which when we mention people, we should definitely tell them so they can come watch this. But which he's a cool dude, by the way. Shout out to Roman. He's a cool dude. So I thought you were that guy. That's it. I didn't think anything of it. Like, I was like, I mean, either way, it doesn't really matter. This guy drives a Mustang. It has J-Man on the back. That's pretty cool. like whatever. It's like, when I go there, like I'm worried about running, like trying to stay on the team, you know, stuff like that. Because I'm coming from a school with no track, trying to be a Division I track athlete, and like a guy who just graduated was an Olympian. Like this girl shot putter was an Olympian. We had people going to nationals, like serious athletes there, and a coach with like legendary status. And I was like nervous about just being there, but just so like happy about being on my own.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, like, speaking of network marketing too, that's what kind of helped change my mind frame too. Because Josh was like, "Hey, you should look into this." He wasn't like pressuring me, which is the very opposite of most network marketers. Like, he was just like, "Hey, you should look into this. You should look into this. You should come to this event." And when I did, we ended up meeting Cousin and Bloss and all these people who we're still friends with. And like, we're going on New Year's. We're going with people that like were big into that. But if like to explain, like part of my journey is like when I came in, I wanted to do exercise science. I wanted a doctorate in physical therapy because physical therapists make $60,000 a year, like minimum, which I thought was a lot of money at the time. They work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. They don't work on the weekends and they don't work holidays. And I'm like, oh, that's an easy job. I can own my own business. I can do whatever. But I didn't know that I'd been saying that since I was like a kid. I can own my own business until it like clicked that like you are your own business. And when you introduced me to like network marketing, personal development, that's when I like realized that. And that was like the second month of school, third month of school. And like, we immediately hung out too. Like, what people don't realize is most people would go to college and they'd have people from their school go and they'd go hang out with those people. But like Josh and I literally like found stuff to do with our friends, mutual friends or not, or friends that we already had. And we went together. Like, we're like, oh, this is my roommate. And I didn't know anybody at school. So I would go with him anywhere he went. And then if I found stuff to do, he would go anywhere I went. And I really shocked him because I would talk to all the girls at the party.
That was crazy. So that was crazy. Because the first night we went out, for one, this is the first day where I thought, okay, is this? I'm just trying to fill him out because we're from totally two different places. So we went out, and I seen this man pull up on like 10 girls and had a whole conversation with like 10 girls, and I was like, oh, okay. Who are you, kid?
Yeah, it helped. I had the juice. I felt like I had the juice, but I didn't really.
It was that brand new tat. He
did.
He had a brand new tat. That's what it was, man.
Yeah, I got my chest cover for people who don't know. Yeah, I'm about to get a sleeve too. Sorry, Grandpa. Grandpa's gonna be pissed. But yeah, so then he was like, "Oh, okay." So like he's socially acceptable. He can talk to girls, talk to whatever. And then we got into a routine every week. Like he would do what he was doing. I would go to class. Friday night we'd go out. Saturday night we'd go out. We'd sleep in until 2:00 so we could use our credits, and we'd go just smash a bunch of unhealthy food. And we just repeat the process. And people like knew us as roommates. People knew us as the roommates. And that's okay, Sanchez. If you need to restart the camera and stuff, it's okay. Just kind of do it at any time. If we miss a moment, we'll just put a transition in. People knew us as the roommates. And what's crazy is like, I feel like that was on us too. It's like, people would be like, "Oh, you're so lucky you like your roommate. I hate my roommate." And I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah.
Well, they do this. I'm like, that's really not a big of a deal. Like, oh, they're just hanging out with their friends. Okay. Like, go hang out with them. Like, people be like, "Oh, you're so lucky." And then we carried that through 4 years. Like, even after you dropped out and everything else, like, we got a house together the next year. We'd still go places, started a business together. We're on a podcast. This is 4 years later, going into year 5.
Yep. Crazy. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy to look back and just think that how it was like actually like meant to be, like meant to happen. Like the universe definitely didn't want us rooming with who we were supposed to, because it was a bigger purpose. And it was just crazy too, because so like how we just continued after the fact of being roommates to transitioning into business partners. Well, for one, I was just always freshman year. I was always about the business stuff. Tristan was doing his track stuff. He had to stop doing network marketing because of the track stuff. But I always knew. So I'll just transition like how we kind of like started our business and everything, and kind of like the whole thought process before then and whatnot. But so like I was going through this weird transition at the time. We were in school. and Tristan was doing his track stuff, school, all that good stuff. I was in class, I was going to school, but I really wasn't like locked in. I really didn't give a fuck about school, especially after my first year. I was literally just going to classes. I got put on academic probation once. Never even told my family about that. I did it totally.
Shout out to the family.
Like I came out of pocket, everything. They had no idea. And that's the kind of I like to go through my problems and just like be real low key about everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and that's one situation. But I got to a point where I was done doing network marketing, and I was just trying to figure it out. But I knew that I wanted to do something with social media because social media is like the big trend right now. It's everything. It's everything. So I started following this entrepreneur called Ty Lopez, and he kept dropping hints. You know, I'm gonna drop this course about creating an agency. I'm gonna drop this course. I'm gonna drop this course. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm ready because I had the money to pay for it. So I'm ready. So during that time, about a month later, he actually dropped the course. So I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going to buy it, but I want to figure out if I could find a business partner. Because one, I was in school at that time, and two, I knew that I had some, I don't want to say weaknesses, but there's some things that other people are better than me at, and I realized, to get to where I need to go, if I want to get there a lot faster, I would do it with somebody else or other people. But if I could do it by myself, but you can only do so much as a one-man team. So I originally went to one of my friends to just kind of bring up the idea to him on, I had this idea, do this business. He didn't see opportunity. Some people just doesn't click. Like, when you say when you show people an idea, or you kind of try to show them the light about something, it doesn't always click.
Which is kind of like hurtful sometimes too.
Yeah, it is. But it's like, you don't want those people.
Move on.
You don't want
move
them.
on.
So I was like, okay, who can I talk to? And then instantly I was like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to Tristan. The reason being is because, for one, in network marketing, I just seen something. I was like, okay, he's good as shit at just being. I don't know what it is. He's just like, he has something there. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the crib and I'm about to go tell Tristan this is what I got going on, and if he bites, cool. If he doesn't, cool. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me because I was, I'm on my journey. But I went home and I was like, blah blah blah. I got this. I'm gonna buy this course, $1,000. Boom, and he was with it.
Yeah, and I didn't have $1,000. I didn't have anything. I didn't have any dollars at that time.
Yeah,
right. I was going into sophomore year.
Yep.
Right. Going into sophomore year, and like I was paying, like I just worked all summer to pay for college, like because it was on me. Like everything was on me. So I'm like, dude, I don't even have $1,000. I can't even go half with you.
Yep.
But I can like work.
Yep.
And Josh was like, okay, that's cool. I got it. Like, let's go ahead. Let's go forward. And then we immediately got a client and started working. And what's crazy, disclaimer too, is like we're talking about on this podcast, because like some people aren't comfortable with listening to those people like Ty Lopez or Grant Cardone or people who are making serious money, and they'll like call them a scam. Like Ty is talking right now actively on his social media about being a scam. If you see that as a scam because you can't capitalize on the opportunity, that's your fault, because we made, of course, it's $1,000, right? We've made more than 50 times that as a company. Like you could do the math, which isn't crazy. Like some kids are killing it. They're doing that a month, like 50 times that a month. But it's to the point, it's like he's giving you an opportunity, and he's done that with multiple other courses, so credit, real estate, and so to other entrepreneurs. And every single time we've made money, we've reinvested it into learning more things about more money. And that goes back to the root of this podcast. You have to recognize that your mind needs to change and needs to evolve. You can have paradigm shifts. You need to invest in yourself, and that might not be entrepreneurship. For us, that's what it is. It might be you investing. If you like comic books or you like anime, it might be investing in going to like Comic-Con or going to an experience to like really interact and see if this is something you want to like mess with, forever. If you really like fitness, it might be going to, the Arnold Classic or, like all the supplement stuff. that might be, the thing that you do, and recognizing that you're in control of how far that passion goes, and how far it pushes. And then like to continue that, and like the story too with the business is like, then we spent all day, every day for 2 years, had a lot of ups, had a lot of downs. Now we're in Indianapolis. Since then, graduated college. Josh already said, he dropped out, had a kid, learned a lot, failed a lot, won a lot, lost a lot.
Yep.
And here we are.
Still got a long way to go. So yeah, I mean that's the beauty of it. Still got a long way to go. And I mean I'm just super excited to really give insight on the minds of young entrepreneurs who definitely don't have it together yet, but are
just young people too. Like we were just talking about the economy, because Gary's talking about the economy.
Yep.
And I feel like, when the economy does, crash, most people overinflate the problem for themselves. Like if you have a regular job and you have your bills and set, the economy crashing has nothing to do with you.
Right.
The people making billions, they might lose a couple $100 million or a couple billion. A company, now if you lose your job, that's different. Or if you can't get a job, that's different. But one thing Gary was talking about of it weeding out all the people who are faking, that's part of what this podcast is for, is like there are people out there who are selling things who haven't done anything. Like there are like some people out there, like this is a mind flux, you know what I mean? Like there's a play on words there. Flux sounds exactly like other words, you know what I'm saying? Like mind fluxed. Because that's the way like we want people to leave. It's just like recognizing that you're in control, and that you have to explore and you have to look into things. Like Josh reads every single day about entrepreneurship or about personal development, really. And some things aren't even related to that. Like, what are some of the books you read this year?
Good to Great. Hold on.
Outliers. You got a list?
Outliers.
Because I know you read. And audiobooks count too.
The Dichotomy of Leadership, Power of Thinking Big. There's plenty out there.
I mean, we can stop there. That's 5 more than most people read this year. That's 5 more than most people read, period.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And like, I try to read more often. Like I was reading last night and listening to like podcasts more often. I really like podcasts, ironically. Here we are.
Yeah.
But recognizing that like you need to change or you need to learn, like Sanchez looks up and follows other videographers that are actually doing it. And because of that, he's able to point out when people aren't. Yeah. Like when people bring us something, some bullshit, he's able to be like, nah, like it's not really cool.
Yeah.
Right. And he knows too that he's got advancements to make. Benji's able to do the same thing with beats. Like right now, like people are mind blown at music and like people just popping off and hitting it out of nowhere because they have like a good producer, and like Benji can dissect that in like 30 seconds and be like, no, that's just this, and this.
Right.
But that's your craft. And one thing about this journey that you guys are following us on is recognizing too that you may not have your craft. You might have, those things about, those things you're average at, those things you're good at, and those things you're great at, and those things you're great at, you may not see being able to make you money. And that's okay. Keep exploring them. Keep doing what you got to do to get by. If you got to work a job, like I Uber and Lyft, own a business, like starting a second business. We're doing well. And I Uber and Lyft. I got a kid to pay for. I got all that other stuff to do. And I have no shame in it.
Yep.
And the thing about like the social media, and which is the thing we make money off of, is can also be pretty sick for people who are 15 right now, looking at that saying, oh, well, I want to be a millionaire. Or they follow somebody who just got out of high school who's like, I'm going to show you exactly how to make money right now with this. And they're not actually making money. And now that 15-year-old convinces his parents to, pay, whatever. And then thinks he can't do it, or he can't pursue his passion, or she too. Like there are women out there, lady bosses. If there are girls who are listening to this, we need more women in our team as well, because they are talented. And with the new era of stuff, especially social media, I wish I was a girl. I just got my hair cut. I got confused for a girl a lot. I should have kept it.
No.
Could have tried to catfish. So yeah, I think we've explained our story. Like, we've established this podcast. It's not just entrepreneurship. It's not just purely motivational. That really the main thing that we want you guys to realize is that, you don't have to have it all figured out, but you do have to realize you're in control.
Yep.
And we hope that you'll recognize that, it may not be us that you're listening to, but there's somebody out there who is doing what you want to do, or has done what you want to do, and picking up your phone and going to YouTube or going to wherever and listening to those people and learning the ins and outs and finding out faster, failing as fast as you can to realize something might not be for you, or something might not be for you. Mm-hmm. It's extremely important. So take advantage of, every opportunity. Go through the motions. You got anything else to wrap it up?
Not really. Just if you're listening to this right now, thank you. We have a lot of good stuff coming up. I'm just super excited to share experiences and just connect with everybody who does tune in, and connect with those who do support what we have going on. And just really building those relationships with people. And other than that, I really don't have nothing. It's a beautiful day today.
Let's plug social media real quick. Totally forgot about that.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So, we just made the handle, actually. Was it?
It's Mind Fluxed.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. So you can follow me at TParm Teach. That's kind of like my idea, my brand. I want to just teach you about the things I learned. At TParm Teach on everything on social media. Benji's at Benji Got Beats. BENJY Got Beats. And his email and stuff too. You guys should check out everything he's doing. Sanchez is it Cheddar _ Sanchez? Cheddar Chez _ Sanchez. There's too many underscores. You got to get rid of those.
It's Cheddar _ Chez
_ There you go.
I'm lit.
There you go.
And you can follow me at Josh Matt, JOSHMATT _ Follow your boy.
See what we're about. For the social media, you find the Mind Flux.
Oh yeah, it's at Mind Fluxed. So MINDFLUXED.
Yep. And so that's where we'll be posting all our staple content. Of course, it'll filter out to our personal social media. For now, you guys can DM us there for questions, comments, concerns, guest suggestions. I mean, we have a long list of people that we want to bring on who are our age, who are actually doing it, who are actually going through it, who may not be making a lot of money, but they're doing what they're passionate about, or who might be making a lot of money so they can do what they're passionate about. And I'm pretty excited about it. So we'll see you guys in episode 2.
Yes, sir. Peace out.